Hi, this is Danny Doyle, and I'm here with another 0% Growths playthrough. This time for, at the time of recording at least, the most recent game in the franchise, Fire Emblem Engage. Here with me is Robin Left. Robin, would you like to introduce yourself, tell a little bit about who you are, what you do, your history with, Fire Emblem, and all that jazz?
Hi y'all. I'm Robin Left. I'm really confused as to why I'm here because I've never played a Fire Emblem in my life. I thought this was a Xenoblade channel.
Oh, fuck off. No, we're not doing Xenoblade.
Okay, no, but for real, hi, I'm Robin Left. Gosh, I'm just kind of this silly frog on the internet. Friends with Danny, friends with Casual Jacob. I've recorded a few playthroughs with Casual Jacob on his channel. Yeah, now I'm here. I've been a pretty big Fire Emblem fan for like a decade. And Danny just asked me like, "Hey, you want to record Engage 0% Gross with me?" And I'm like, "All right, cool. This sounds awesome." Yeah. I'm not sure what else to say.
I don't know why, Robin, do you know why unit control defaults to fucking direct, the goddamn worst fucking piece of shit setting ever? I hate it.
I do.
Direct control. It's so bad. Support outfit, battle, render scale, load, UI. Okay, that all seems good. But yeah, so, astute viewers might have noticed that in addition to 0% growths, we have some other mods on. Namely, there's a lot of aesthetic ones that I have applied. I have, in addition to lowering the growth rates of all units to 0 across the board, done some, graphical changes. Alear has Vale's hair, and Vale has Alear's hair. Units are gonna keep their personal outfits when they reclass, so no more like, you send Kagetsu Hero, he gets the ugly hero drip, or any of that stuff, which I'm pretty excited for. You know, Goldmary can now finally go Great Knight and still stay looking like good.
A queen.
Queen slay. But I also made some, what I would consider to be quality of life mods, and inserted them. Basically, it just removes the random elements from the Somniel. This is not like a strict QOL, like it's not strictly better, it's definitely not within the developer's vision, but also I don't like rolling gacha for rings, or gambling on the well, or waiting and seeing if the correct chef shows up for cooking meals and stuff. Yeah, those sort of random mechanics are all well and good for an Iron Man, but for a more, a playthrough where we want to be pushing the tools and games to the limits, I don't love that, so...
I don't want to have some consistency.
Yeah, so dogs will always give steel. On average, they will give steel every time, like, on average, because a bronze versus a silver versus, or what is it, like, iron, silver, steel?
Iron.
Yeah.
Iron, steel, silver. Yeah.
Because of the exchange rates, what ends up happening is that on average, you even out to getting a steel every time. And I just made it so it always gives steel every time. That way we can plan our forges for the run, knowing exactly how many resources are going to be available. All of the bond rings that we get will be S rank. I don't actually think S rank bond rings are like strictly necessary in a more casual context, or honestly even in a 0% growths context, but I'm a filthy scrub, and I'm not good at Fire Emblem, so I want to have more tools available, and I will use all the tools available to me. In addition to the rings themselves always being S rank, I have given myself an achievement, well, I've given myself several achievements. You know the achievements board, where if you do stupid little tasks like attack 5 times with a sword, or use the turn wheel twice, you get given some amount of bond fragments?
Of course.
I've updated every C support to give 999999999999999 bond fragments. The reason for that is
every C support just in case we run out.
just in case we run out, yeah. The reason for that is twofold. One is to simulate rolling the rings that we want every single time, because even with every ring being an S rank ring, still very easily can run into the situation of like, oh, but I rolled 17 S rank Boyds and no S rank Ellywoods or something like that, right? Where like, I do actually want, I bring up Ellwood because I do actually want a large number of S rank Ellywoods because he has drawback and that'll be useful for 2 maps. It's a good skill until you get Ike, so it's useful for 2 maps. It's so stupid.
I wish I could get 17 S rank Boyds personally, but sadly I can't even get one because there's no fucking Boyd ring.
Wait, there's no Boyd ring? What the
There's
fuck?
no Boyd ring!
Engage is too woke for Boyd.
I wish it was less woke then, damn.
So that is one reason for the S rank, for all the bond fragments. But the other reason is that a lot of the achievements you can just tediously get functionally infinite bond. The most notorious of these is there are achievements for leaving your console on with Engage running in the background for up to 12 days straight. With increasing numbers of bond fragments, but even ignoring like that more extreme scenario, because of the way that turn wheel is implemented to the achievements, it's actually technically optimal and advantageous to like use all of your turn wheels as soon as you get a critical hit or something, so that you get the 10 crits achievement sooner. Because it saves during turn wheels. And moreover, it saves during, like, you find a skirmish, you deploy, and you retreat. That counts as the deploy a unit X number of times things. There's tons of, like, really shitty Emblem-coded ways to optimize getting bond fragments, which is funny in its own right. Like, I would love to, at some point, just sit down and look at everything, make a video about, like, here's how to optimize your bond fragments.
Leave the game running. Don't play Engage.
The best way to play Engage is to not. Oh god, now I sound like one of those 3 houses succeeded where Engage fell off channels. But
you do. From
the perspective of just, like, wanting to play the game, I bought the game, I want to play the game. I'm just giving myself all those bond fragments, both to simulate RNG going right and to simulate me not fucking bothering with the bullshit. If that's something that, like, you have a problem with and, like, you feel like damages the integrity of the run, that's completely valid. I personally disagree, but there's a reason I'm being upfront about it to begin with, is because I think that even in something as stupid as just like a Fire Emblem Let's Play, I don't want to misrepresent myself. And on that topic, the well, I went back and forth a bunch about what to do in the well, because we're allowing DLC, and we're allowing other forms of RNG manipulation. However, at the highest level, if we truly manipulated the well at the highest level, it would kind of be pointless at a certain point to do 0% growths, because we would just get one of every stat booster every chapter, and that doesn't sound fun to me. It might be fun to some other people. You know, no judgments here.
Is Alear gonna die?
No, Alear's gonna dodge. She has Marth dodge plus. Watch this shit. Dodge tanking. Alear did not dodge, in fact. Alear did not dodge, in fact. That gives us more time to talk. That gives us more time to talk about the nature of the run. I was worried that this first video would be too short. But yeah, so the well. After going back and forth... Oh, Vander's running alone now. Wait, because Alear died. Vander's alone. That's actually so epic and awesome.
When
oh wait, no, Vander. I think it wasn't because Alear died. I think it was because Vander was on the map and Alear shows up as a reinforcement.
Maybe. When do we get the Engage sequel where Vander's the protag?
Silly Robin. Vander's already the protag.
Shit, you're right. But yeah.
So what I decided on in the well is I actually had to create my own guaranteed well pull mod. I was looking to see if I could find one that does like average, right? You always just get the expected average, similar to the steal on the dogs. See, look at that! Avoid attack 10 times because we've reset, right? You see that shit?
Incredible.
That's what I'm talking about with the achievements. That's what I'm talking about with the achievements. She dodges one attack and gets avoided attack 10 times. Truly incredible. Truly incredible. Just making sure we didn't accidentally, like, save... Yeah, she's still level 1. She didn't save the level up she got. Like, it is literally just... That's how achievements work. It's so stupid in this.
It's very strange.
But anyway, my point with the well is... I've made it so that you are guaranteed to always pull everything that there is a chance of. I actually posted that publicly, both on Game Banana and in my Discord. So if you're interested in playing with, like, broken, the well is always guaranteed. Not balanced at all, but, like, could be fun. I am imposing the restriction upon myself that I can only ever do 1-star well to sort of balance out the lack of RNG and not make it just a show of we get a warp and one of every stat booster every chapter. But at the same time not have to plan around like, well, if we roll the correct thing, then I would get the SP for this build or whatever. So now I will always get, I believe it's like the 2 smallest SP books, the Novice and Intermediate, every chapter, which will make SP management a lot easier. I was gonna say that the game's economy wasn't balanced around that, but the game's economy just kind of wasn't balanced around the well and DLC in
At
general.
all.
It's actually a shame, because the first time I played the game, I didn't have any DLC installed. So, in addition to no rings, there was no, like, you get a free gold and smithing materials and engraved crystals and stuff. And I had none of those. And I actually felt like the game's economy was really well balanced. There was a push and pull of, like, what you're going to spend your gold on, what you're going to spend your bond fragments on. There were some units who, like, the pick of, like, the sort of, like, meta, right, of what unit do you want to, like, invest in or whatever, sometimes came down to, like, a unit having more SP being an upside compared to stats, but now just SP perks exist and everyone can get whatever they want, which does also make any sort of tiering discussion fucking hell, because axe power 5.
Yeah. I still have yet to do a playthrough where I, like, dump into the well. I think once I finish my current maddening playthrough, I'll probably, if I can get the DLC, I'll probably get that and then just go all in, just fucking around with the well and stuff. But yeah, for right now, I'm just, I want to play the game the way the developers actually balanced it.
Yeah, and it is like, it's not that it's, like, not fun to play unbalanced, and most Fire Emblem games, like official Fire Emblem games, not ROM hacks, the economy is pretty unbalanced regardless, so it's not like Engage is like an anomaly in that respect. Like, I know there's a lot of, like, anti-Engage sentiment because new game bad, especially because it is a somewhat significant departure from Three Houses in terms of how it works. Oh god, Vander's gonna steal EXP.
Well, he's the Jacob, and that's the job.
Oh, wait. Oh, there we go. I'm joking about Vander stealing EXP, but there is actually a reason to try to limit his levels beyond just, like, the meme. 6, physical attack of 11, defense of 5, 11 minus 5 is 6. Gosh darn it. Okay. We can just lure him this way. We can kill him on player phase. It's okay.
I was going to say, did you want to bank on the dodge or use a vulnerary? But this works too.
So the reason to not try to get Vander EXP, I can't actually find, like, the fully concrete exact this is how the paralog scaling works. Oh god, it's a 70%. You know what, we'll let him come out of the forest is what we'll do. Oh, he doesn't even want to attack Vander anymore. He's like, it's not
it was because of divine protection or whatever the hell Alear's personal
Oh, because Vander, yeah, he was taking one. You're right. He was taking 1 damage. God, you're so smart, Robin. This is why I brought you on.
Teehee. See, I pay attention to things.
I don't.
Did you know that when Alear gets warped up to the top of the map with Marth, you can just kill all of the corrupted in 1 turn?
On Maddening?
Yeah. You just put her on the. You just engage. You put her on the middle left forest, equip the rapier, and they all just die.
Oh my god, the rapier has more might than the iron sword, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
I'm so bad.
I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to talk over you.
Yeah, I mean, like, so here's the thing: is okay, but think about this. We gained more Emblem Bond because you can only build Bond and supports on player phase. So if we killed everyone on enemy phase, we wouldn't have gained as much Emblem Bond with Marth. And that matters, because the Bond fragment economy is going to be really tight in this run.
This is really true, yeah.
Because
we're gonna run out. Because we're gonna run out.
What if I don't have enough C supports?
Yeah. What if everybody dies?
While we're on this end screen, I do want to say the Vander thing I was touching on. I can't find anything online. There's like conflicting reports as to how the DLC paralogs scale. A lot of people say that they scale based on the average of your X deployments, of your X highest level units, where X is the deployment slots. And that's what I've found the most, although I have found conflicting stuff about this. However, that is how open world, like, grinding maps scale. But it does not appear from the testing of people I've spoken to in my Discord, like, who've actually gone in and fucking tested specifically the DLC paralogs. It doesn't appear to be that's the case. And nobody has been able to confirm for me, but what seems to be most likely is that the enemies scale to be exactly the level of your highest level unit. Right now, that is Vander, who is IL 16. If he gets a level and becomes IL 17, then, you know, that's bad for us, because then we have harder paralog enemies. And we do want to, at the very least, beat Tiki's paralog as soon as possible, because I want that rewarp staff. And also the warp and rescue, but, like, those can wait. But yeah, that's why I didn't want to feed Vander experience. Also just because it's funny to say EXP thief.
I mean, that's his job.
That is his job. That's why he has the crit skill. God, who designed this game?
Actually, Vander's internal level is 15 according to the Oifi bot.
Well, no, isn't it like 15-1?
No, it's just 15.
Damn, fake gamer confirmed.
I'm pretty sure.
Comment fake gamer down below to cancel me. Bye.
Okay, I will.
Hey, so I recorded the entire first episode and realized we forgot to do unit reviews for Alear and Vander. So I'm just gonna record this now with Robin and insert that in at the beginning of chapter 1. So you know this now, viewer. You know this because, you know, you've seen we haven't started chapter 1 yet. But yeah, let's talk about unit reviews. How do you zoom in? It's plus
minus.
Normally. It's minus. That's so counterintuitive. So yeah, let's start by talking about Alear, or as we named her, Zero. Alear is the game's lord and avatar. Starts in a unique class, Dragon Child, and prior to DLC was fairly unique in being able to get dragon bonuses from the emblems. I think that this is an aspect of her kit that was a little bit overplayed. I don't think the dragon bonuses are generally all that useful, with a few exceptions. I like Micaiah bonus in the early game, but then Hortensia can just do it anyway. And I like the rally spectrum from Byleth that you get as part of Byleth's Dance or Byleth's Instruct, but I generally think it's better to focus on either Dex or Strength or Magic, like a specific stat, because you get more raw stats out of focusing on one instead of the rally spectrum, which I believe is only 2 each. I have to double check that on Wifey.
It's 3.
Actually.
It's 3 each.
It's 3 each. Okay. Whereas like rally dex, for example, is
It's like 10.
swing
it's
of
10, I think.
It's 10. I thought it was 6. Hold on, let me pull up.
Yeah, let's verify that. I'm pretty sure it's 10.
That's even more absurd than I thought. Rally dex.
Yeah.
Rally dex is 10. Rally speed is 5. That's what I was thinking of speed. I think I said dex by accident. But yeah, 10 dex, 5 speed, compared to just 3 across the board. Or 4 strength or 4 magic can also be useful if you're like just shy of specific kill thresholds and you're already doubling. There's a time and a place for rally spectrum, especially if you're like dancing 4 people, some of whom are physical, some of whom are magical. So it's not something I would completely discount, but those are really the only 2 that I think of off the top of my head. Oh, the Marth Dragon bonuses are really useful in the early game.
Yeah, they're just like a huge offensive boost from what I recall.
And Alear has Marth stapled to her by default for 3 chapters. I'm saying her for Alear, even though Alear can be male, and there are sometimes benefits to doing so depending on your team composition. There's not really any like gender differences in Alear's performance specifically. It's more people's personal skills. Female Alear does not get the negative side of Goldmary and Rosado's personal skills when they are enemies, and can help to activate Louis and Naren's personal skills. Both male and female Alear can activate Chloe's, because you need a man and a woman next to each other, because heterosexuality.
Yeah.
But I find, because there are fewer women in the early game, it's generally easier to do it with female Alear. That being said, male Alear can do it with From on a chain guard, which is like a non-negligible thing. Because you do want to be adjacent for a chain guard anyway. So I tend to prefer female Alear, but I don't. It's like the smallest change of any of the avatar genders.
Yeah, it's pretty inconsequential. I honestly just like male Alear more for the design.
And that's completely valid. Have fun facing minus 10 hit from Rosado or whatever. I forget what his skill does.
It's okay. It's okay. Rosado deserves it. And Goldmary. Yeah. Alear's not a unit I'm like intimately familiar with. I've always just kind of used them as like pretty much just a flunky, truthfully. Their stats are like fine. Nothing to write home about. I personally just kind of like using them for the support. I should also mention I'm a sucker for like personal classes and stuff, so I keep Alear in the Dragon Child line, and just kind of give them the Byleth ring. That allows them to level up pretty easily once the mid game rolls around, because I'm not training them super heavily early on.
See, I do like to focus in on them early, because especially when you have Bonfrag gets more limited. Early access to Mercurius, just through naturally building Marth rank and leveraging Mark really well as a Dragon Child, I feel lets them snowball as hard as Chloe, or potentially even harder.
That's fair. Yeah, like I said, not a unit I'm intimately familiar with. Definitely not a bad unit by any stretch of the imagination, but like just not as cracked as more recent lords in the series have been.
She's definitely more of a supporting role than like your Corins and your Byleths. Although Byleth does have supporting attributes to them. You mentioned the personal skill, I believe, with +3 damage and -1 damage.
I was about to get to that. Yeah, really fucking good personal skill. Really useful. This is true damage, so it's very essential if you want to kill the final boss with a level 1 Boucheron.
Yeah, it goes through defenses. Like, it doesn't matter if you were dealing -27, now you deal 3.
Yeah, this is very important. This is a very important strat for later. Keep this in mind.
The -1, it doesn't come up as often, but -1 is true defense as well. It will reduce damage from the dragon weapons that pierce defense and res.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't add to your bulk, it subtracts from the enemy's offenses, which isn't going to come up that often. Even with her counterpart, which is Vale, having the inverse of 3 less damage, doesn't come up that often, but it is, I guess, technically worth noting. If you're really worried about having Jade tank a bunch of worms.
Do you think Divinely Inspiring is one of the best personals in this game?
I think it's one of the best in the franchise.
They really just copy-pasted Camilla's personal and just made it one of the best in the game.
Yeah, I mean, hot take, Camilla's a pretty good unit too. And it's not just for her personal. The one thing that is potentially worth noting that isn't immediately apparent is the 3 damage is added before any damage dividers. Many engage attacks will be like hit X many times, but the damage is divided by 3 or divided by 5 or divided by whatever. In those instances, Alear's will be divided. However, based on how the rounding works, it will always add at least 1 point of damage, which is nice. I believe it is actually always just exactly 1 point of damage added. But that's, it's still something. It is appreciated to reach those damage thresholds against particularly difficult bosses or enemies. You mentioned that you like to keep Alear in their base class. The builds that I prefer are... My favorite is it takes advantage of her weapon ranks, because... So Alear has proficiency in swords and fists, which... Fists in particular, in a no DLC run, which is typically what I play, are really valuable because you cannot get a fist user until you train someone with Corrin, other than the ones who have it innately.
With Byleth, not Corrin.
Oh, Byleth, yeah. Oh, that's even that's a little bit earlier. But that's like 1 chapter earlier.
Yeah, but yeah. I'm assuming Key Adept.
Yeah, Key Adept Key Adept is a very good class to put Lucina on, because Bondage Shield has an 80% chance to negate the first attack from enemies, but on Key Adepts, it's a 100% chance. So if you put Alear in the middle of 4 units and activate Bondage Shield with them, then the only person of that group of 5 who can take damage is Alear, but because Alear has the ability to build supports with every member of the cast, and Lucina also gives a passive ability that increases your avoid based on adjacent unit support ranks, the enemies will ignore Alear because their avoid ends up too high, attack the people who they can't deal damage to, and then get counterattacks. From and Jean can do this to a lesser extent. From is probably the next best one, just because she has a really good support list. And if you're only using flyers and only using cavalry, flyers and cavs can do it to each other, but not to other units. So I know a lot of people will gas up certain, like, this unit has supports with a lot of good flyers, or this unit has a lot of good supports with a lot of good cavs. So for like Cav Ball and Dragon Ball. But Alear can do whatever ball.
Hey, Dragon.
Yeah. Master of Balls.
Master of Balls. I gotta wonder. Well, I'm assuming Key Adept Alear is probably what you want to go with for this run.
Well, either that or the other option that I like is Griffin. Flight on Alear is very valuable for Chapter 11, which is an escape map with a lot of terrain like water and bushes that Alear can sort of fly over. It's an escape, not Thracia escape, but like Path of Radiance escape, where only Alear needs to escape. And if Alear isn't doing much damage anyway, the higher movement, the ability to Divinely Inspire and potentially use stabs can be nice. I also don't need to hard commit to either of them. I can just like switch based on which is better for the given map. That is going to eat into funds and second seals, but just sort of depends. I'll probably initially go Griffin at the very least, and maybe switch to Key later. But those are typically what I like Alear for in the late game, rather than their combat. They do also have, because there's 2 types of proficiency in this game. They're both called proficiency, and it's really stupid and frustrating. You have proficiency in that these are the weapons you currently have access to, and you have proficiency in that there's one weapon in particular you specialize in. And that gives you, like, a higher rank in that weapon type. Alear's specialty is swords. So in some classes, not all classes, because can't be consistent about this, Alear will gain one more sword rank, allowing her to use higher ranked swords than others would in that class. I know the big one that often comes to mind, and the reason I brought up Griffin, is Griffins you can use the S rank sword in, which is relevant because many engage attacks are sword attacks, and being able to use higher ranked swords for those engage attacks is quite nice. Oh, hold on a second. One moment, technical difficulties. Sorry about that. We're back though. One last thing. Hello.
My Discord exploded.
It went kaboom. It went kaboom.
It went kaboom, but it's back. I fixed it with tape.
One last thing about Alear that I think is worth mentioning is Engage Plus. I guess spoilers if you care about the story of this game. Alear is the 13th Emblem ring, and she's the Fire Emblem.
She is the Fire Emblem.
You are the Fire Emblem. So the way that
Engage.
Alear works as an Emblem ring is a little bit different than the other ones, because the other ones kind of function as just, like, basically items. But Alear engages with, like, she's still a unit on the map, engages with someone adjacent to her, and then both Alear and that unit become engaged with the Emblem Alear. Emblem Alear is, like, it's probably the worst emblem in the game, except for maybe Roy. But I feel like people sleep on Roy as well. So you get, like, a couple of stats based on, rather than the bond level, it's based on your support level. So theoretically, you can start building the supports early on and have a high bond stat thing with Alear. You can also get an S rank with them if you do the Pact Ring in order to further bolster that and unlock the Boon of Ilios, which is so stupid. You gain crit equal to 2 times the number of allies who already acted this turn. Crit and dodge, I think, right? Is it just crit?
Yeah. It's crit and dodge times 2.
It's dumb. I don't care. I don't care about, like, any of Alear's abilities. The most useful is Holy Aura, which turns dragon slaying weapons into effective against corrupted worms. One thing that is often harped on, I think it's a good design choice, but a lot of people don't like it, is that dragon slaying weapons don't deal effective damage to the worms, the, like, monstrous worms. That includes Sombron, the final boss. But Alear does give them effective damage against those. And she has Dragon Blast as her engage attack, which is, like, generally one of the better ways. I think it's like the easiest way to kill Sombron is just have, like, Alear and Vale engage plus, trade off Dragon Blasts and Canters and Dances and stuff. Just because Vale has, like, really good magic at base, and also gets the Dragon bonus, which does 20% extra damage. But in general, I'm not, like, huge on Emblem plus Alear, and it comes super late. It's available for 3 main story maps and 2 paralogs. You can save other paralogs for it. But specifically when you first unlock the Bond paralog and the Marth paralog is when you have Engage Plus available, but all the other ones, if you want Engage Plus for them, you are delaying them. And the only story maps where it's available on are the frickin' the Volcano map, Back in Time, and Final. Oh no, and Mommy Dami.
Please don't call it that.
Okay. Kill Lumera. It's just that Rev story beat, but done worse somehow. Can you tell I'm not a huge fan of the late game story of Engage?
It's real bad. Like,
yeah.
Wow, it's real bad.
Like, when you're making me think that Makoto's death is done well, you know you fucked up.
I remember just like from like chapter 22 and onwards, just kind of like the scene transitioning to chapter 22, just kind of like staring at the screen dumbfounded as all of the emblems came together and looked at me going, "You are the fire emblem."
Yeah, I'm in general a defender of Engage's story for like the first 2/3 of the game. It's like overly verbose, but otherwise passable. But then you get into every villain gets a redemption arc at the same time. And also, like, you are the Fire Emblem. And hey, Lumera's back. Kill her again. It's silly. Just silly. But you know what else is silly? The people who say Vander is bad.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah, like, this man's awesome. I don't know what you're on about. He's got flaws. Sure, he's slow as hell. Man's got 6 speed after weapon weight,
and only 8 build, so it goes down. Like, he's weighed down by an iron axe.
Yeah, he's weighed down by an iron axe. This man's level 15 internally, and he gets like no XP. But like, he also hits pretty damn hard, and he's got 40 fucking HP.
I would push back against him hitting hard. He gets harder than, like, Alear at base, but I feel like your damage dealers in the early game, like, I guess Vander does kind of hit hard, just not, like, I'm thinking of, like, Louis or Chloe, or, like, even Klon and Celine, who I'm not super high on.
That's fair. I don't know. His damage output's solid.
When he hits.
Yeah, when he hits, that is a flaw of his for sure. I should have mentioned that earlier. Is his accuracy? Like I think this guy gets a bad rep. Like, he's a perfectly serviceable Jagan. I think it would be kind of nice if he was a bit more accurate, but like, I think he does his job just fine.
The thing about his accuracy is he's probably the only unit in the game who actually wants to inherit hit plus from Marth. Because he has 500 SP, and he's not doing fucking shit with it. Like,
no, he's not.
You gain EXP, you gain SP based on the EXP you gain, and so he's not gaining any SP. So he can't afford any of the higher impact skills, and by the time you would be able to get them anyway, he's fallen off, so...
He's fallen off a fucking cliff, yeah.
I think just, like, buy the most expensive hit plus he can afford, maybe forge him an axe, accuracy issues gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just like him for his HP, TBH.
His 40
really nice.
His 40 HP is incredible. Like, yeah. And I think he's going to be even more useful in this run where people aren't gaining stats.
Well, you would be surprised. One thing is that his base stats really do not measure up. Aside from HP, his base stats really do not measure up to even early joiners. Arguably Louis is bulkier than him in 0%, and that's before factoring in the fact that Louis can get promotion bonuses. So I feel like Vander, he'll probably hold up a little bit longer than the average run, but I typically drop him by around the time you get Ivy's group anyway, and I can't see myself deploying him longer than that in this run either.
No.
Like, I think he's just gonna play basically identical.
I typically drop... Yeah, no, I actually drop him sooner than that normally, but I'm still satisfied with the job he does in that time.
I guess if you're training more early game people, it is justifiable to drop him early. I tend to focus my experience on 2, maybe 3 targets, just because there are so many good mid-game units. Which is the other thing that makes him better than he appears, is like... It feels like you're wasting experience by feeding him kills because he doesn't gain any EXP, but you're also wasting experience if you're feeding it to, like, Boucheron or Etier or Celine and you don't plan on using them long term. Like, if you are planning on using Boucheron and Etier and Celine long term, then it's not a waste of experience. I'm not saying that they're not viable. You can use anyone in this game long term.
I am saying that they're not viable.
Oh, God.
I'm saying they're not viable.
I wanted to wait until chapter 3 for the Archer debates. Don't send me back to the trenches, Robin. But yeah, that's sort of my takeaway with Vander. I mentioned the accuracy. The other big problem I have with him is this crit.
Yeah. Yeah.
He already has
Go
base
ahead.
crit, and then he gains 5 from being adjacent to Alear, which is not like the hardest condition in the world to avoid setting up. It's not like, oh no, Mercedes Fortify is gonna hit the entire map. Like, it's 4 tiles he can't stand in, but those are 4 tiles that units like to stand in to bolster their damage. And you also, if you're choking, like, the early game does have quite a few 2-tile wide choke points, and if you're choking with him and Alear, then he can sometimes just, like, accidentally score a crit, which is unfortunate. Yeah, I wish that instead of... Because, like, he already has crit inherent from his weapon, right? And then he gains more from Alear. I wish that instead he had, like... I get that this is meant to focus, like, him, Clown, and Fran have the same personal skills, but for different stats. Hit, avoid, and crit, I believe it is.
Yes.
I think that's really cool thematically, but from a gameplay perspective, I wish he had, like, activated Mercy as a personal skill or something, right? Like, not proc, but get to choose Mercy or kill on attack, kind of like combat art Mercy, basically. I think that would be really cool.
You would expect IS to actually, like, think that far ahead with their unit design.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
I think you're just expecting too much, I'm gonna be real.
Hey, if you want that sort of stuff, play ROM hacks. But, I guess I
This is
should
your
say,
plug to play
because
Two Milkmen Go Comedy.
Because he's a Cav, he can use Sigurd pretty well. Just because he gets 2 more move out of that. I do think people sometimes overstate just how much the +2 move is, but it is nice. He has the highest move even without Sigurd, and then with Sigurd, he has by far the highest move. Which can be useful, especially on a tanky unit. The only other person who arguably has better move with Sigurd than him is Chloe, because she ignores terrain, and if he has to move through more than 1 tile of terrain, she outmoves him, even with the Cav bonus in effect. But he's bulkier than her, which is sort of the trade-off. Of course, like, Louis is bulkier than him, so if you want to... A lot of people like Sigurd Louis for that reason. Oh, he does have S-axes, which is... Initially, it was not super relevant, but with the addition of the Ancient Well, you actually get an S-rank axe in Chapter 7, which can help him hang on for dear life a little bit longer. Because he does have that boost to his axe rank, which is nice. His only rank that he knows is axes, like his only proficiency is axes, and axes are also his specialty, so that's why he has X-axes in Paladin. But it's nice. Yeah. Got anything else to say about the 37th Stuart?
I don't like the way his horse is staring at me.
Would you rather look at the horse butt instead? There we go.
Yeah, that's a bit better. Thank you.
It flicked its tail. I like it. The horses in this game are so cool. I like the Mage Knight ones with wizard hats.
Yeah, I noticed that like a few months ago, and it just gave me a good chuckle. This is very silly.
Truly silly coded.
But yeah, Vander's a good unit. Don't sleep on him. Use him while he's useful.
And then let him go to sleep.
Yeah. Or bring him to endgame if you're based.
Mage
I don't think
Knight
we're gonna be that
Hurricane Axe Vander. Let's go.
I don't think we're gonna be that based.
You never know.
Playthrough.